Hello and welcome in. I'm Tracy. This is my channel dealing with adult children who have um, alienated themselves from us, estranged themselves from us, and in many cases taken their children or grandchildren with them. If you saw the last video, you know why I look like this. If you didn't, I had a cry fest, and then I ended up with pink eye in both eyes. So good times. Um, if you haven't seen my other videos, I suggest that you start at the beginning and listen to my story. I have 4 children, estranged from 3, and estranged from 6 grandchildren. If you watch those, it'll go through a timeline of how it began with each child and a little bit about each child. Today I want to talk about amends letters. If you guys are on any sort of support page, one particular support page that has a doctor running it, um, then you've heard the term amends letter. Now, I want to say this. I fully believe that if your child has a valid reasons to have pulled away, that we should acknowledge those feelings and apologize. Now, we don't have to agree. We don't have to think that it's worthy of being, taking yourself away from your family. We don't have to we don't have to understand. We I believe that we should though acknowledge those feelings. Now, I'm personally not saying that you should acknowledge um, something that didn't happen. Um, you can say, I don't remember it that way. I believe that we should, even if there's a reason, like there's a backstory that they don't know why something happened. Um, I have a child who is an older son who has um, been carrying around the fact that when my mother died, his grandmother, um, 20 years ago, that no, 25 years ago, that we moved out of the state within 2 weeks. And I was, I mean, two of the hardest things that you go through in life is a death and moving. And, and um, he felt that I was going through such a ridiculously hard time that um, he couldn't come to me and talk to me about what he was going through and about his grief. And that's a completely valid um, feeling, observation, and even though I know that no matter what was going on with me, I know that there's never been a time, never will be a time that I will not be there to listen. Um, I He didn't know that. He didn't feel that, and that's what matters. And it's understandable. Then I have a daughter who is, her excuses her story for why she didn't speak to us. She was getting comments that it wasn't, her reasons weren't valid enough. People were telling them her family stories and saying, um, this is what I went through, and I wouldn't ever consider alienating or estranging from my parents, nor taking my grandchildren away. Um, and I will not acknowledge something that I did not do. Will not acknowledge that. I am. She had some things like, she has said that at one point I told her if she was to ever not speak to me that I would feel suicidal. I don't remember that conversation, but I do struggle with depression, PTSD, um, panic disorder, and it's likely that I could have said something like that. And I apologized for the hurt that that would cause and the weight that that would put on her shoulders. I am 100% capable of acknowledging when I have fucked up, because I fuck up. I do. We all do. And I gave all of my children the opportunity to tell me what it was, what it is. Even my child who isn't estranged, tell me things that have bothered you. What, where did I drop the ball? And if it is, is it affecting you? Do you still feel that? And I've acknowledged, I've acknowledged them, and that was verbally, that was in person, um, and that also over the phone. I've done it more than one time, and I finally got to the point where I said, um, I've apologized enough. I am not, you guys cannot keep beating me over the head, for things, the same things over and over again, and apologizing and apologizing and apologizing. You either accept my apology or you don't. But I I felt that I had validated those feelings, and sincerely feel sorry for them having pain that continued. Um, so, amendment letters. There's a thought that for amendment letters, you should apologize or at anything. Anything they say that you did, even if you didn't. Anything they say that you said, even if you didn't. Just so they will feel heard and seen, and maybe, maybe forgive you for the things that you did do and the things you did not do. And I can't stand that concept. I It really bothers me that professionals will tell you to send these letters, apologize for breathing, for anything and everything that they've said. True, not true, anything in between. Half truths. Um, just apologize, get it out of the way, so that the ray of sunshine may be sent in your direction occasionally. And I can't do that. And if you can, and if you've done that, by all means, that's what you wanted to do, that's what you felt you needed to do, then I will support that 100%. I'm not saying that for you, you should feel like me or or anybody else. I know there's parents in these support groups that have sent these amends letters multiple times, just piling on the things they're apologizing for, even if it didn't happen. Now I am able to say, like I said before, that there might have been things that I said that I don't remember saying. And I'm not talking about something like that. I'm talking about, if somebody is saying that you um well, abuse them, physically abuse them, and you didn't. Um, if my, I have a daughter-in-law I've spoken about on here. I said that I heard the term from a doctor that some people are a cult of one, and they can do tremendous damage to a family. And my daughter-in-law is a cult of one, and she has done tremendous damage. She's been a wrecking ball for our family. And she got my son to believe things had been done to him that had not been. One of them, in one of my earlier videos, is that he told me that he was furious with me because I wouldn't let him have a job. I wanted him to stay home, help me with the younger kids, and I made him quit his job. And my husband was on speakerphone during this confrontation, and my husband remembered this and, and corrected him and said, that is not what happened. What happened was you couldn't hack the job. It was physically demanding, and it was hot. We were in Arizona, and you quit before the day was over. Said this wasn't for you, and you went home and you quit. Now I knew that I hadn't remembered this situation. I knew I had not remembered this situation. I knew that I had had pretty severe postpartum depression with my fourth child. Um, and I thought maybe that's true. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's true. But my husband stopped me before I could apologize for something that I had not done. And and I'm grateful for that. And my son had this look on his face, like it became clear to him that yeah, that's how it went. It wasn't me, it was him. Didn't apologize for holding this grudge against me. Um, my other children, it didn't matter to them that he had lied um, and and that's something else I want to talk about. is that when you have more than one child who isn't speaking to you, is being estranged, it doesn't seem to matter to the other children that they support everything. There's a hard line there, and they're going to support it, whether it's true or it's not. That's what my children did. They supported him in this. I'm, no, I'm not saying he was lying. I almost said lie. I do believe that he had called me one time, and his wife had been in the background, and she was saying, "Remember, she did this. She told you that she was going to take your Christmas presents away if you didn't behave. Remember that?" And so I do believe, and I could hear her because he wasn't allowed to speak to me unless he was on speakerphone, ever, unless I called him at work or he called me on his drive to work. That's the only time we could speak privately because he wasn't allowed to. And so I feel that she is a voice in his head and had gotten him to think that this is what happened. And the hard part is that when you see your other children, just stand there and not say, "Hey, you should apologize for mom because you just berated her for something that she didn't do." They hardline support it. No apology. And that is something that we also feel like I some of us, many of us feel like we should be apologized to for the treatment, for taking our grandkids, for the alienation, it's abusive. We are being abused. And we want some acknowledgement. I would die for some acknowledgement to say, I was wrong. Them say, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that to you. I shouldn't be doing that to you. But when you have three of them, like in my case, supporting it, giving the hugs and the hearts on social media, um, so amends letters. I've seen so many people who write more than one, and they just keep throwing things in, throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, begging the person who is abusing them to stop abusing them. And I won't do that. I won't do that. I I spent my life being abused by my mother, by men, by people who said they were my friends. And this is my hard line in the sand. I can't throw stuff and see if it sticks. Make up stuff. These people are literally making up stuff because they think that maybe their child, um, even if their child doesn't remember that or knows it didn't happen, that maybe they'll think that it did happen and their parent is apologizing for it, and then give them the ray of light that they're trying to find. And I can't apologize to my abusers for anything beyond something I legitimately am responsible for. And I legitimately am responsible for things. I'm not afraid to admit that to them. I'm not afraid to admit that to you. I've not been a perfect parent. I heard somebody say that it would be great if our children realized that we're doing this for the first time too. We're here for the first time. We're parenting for the first time. And all of our children are different. And it's all a first time. Every child is a first time for that personality, that being that they are. And we're gonna make mistakes. And it's okay to make mistakes. We don't have to have our feet held to the fire because this, I did apologize to my son for him still feeling hurt that I told him when he was 14 years old that I would take his presents away if he didn't behave. I apologized for that. And my husband thought that was ridiculous. Is there a parent who hasn't? I mean, isn't that what Don't Pout, Don't Cry is all about? And getting coal in your stocking is all about. And many cultures have Krampus, which is all about that. Um, isn't Has there been a person who hasn't threatened a child with taking their Christmas presents away? And I'm sure there's people out here who are going to be like, yeah, I would never do that, and that's fine, that's great. But I would say that there's a majority of people who have. And for my 37-year-old son to come to me and say, when I was 14, you took away, I didn't take away, you threatened to take away my presents. While it might look ridiculous and sound ridiculous, feel ridiculous, I, my feeling was that if it did hurt him, like he was portraying, then I should apologize for the hurt. In the grand scheme of things, say, as a 37-year-old man and a father and a husband, that you're holding a grudge against me because I told you I was going to take your presents away when you were 14. I mean, I could spend all day apologizing for stuff like that, right? You're not going to be able to go to the movies with your friends if you don't be respectful. I've told you to clean your room and you haven't, so um, you're not. If you don't, you're not going to be able to spend the night with such and such. Um, Granted, the present thing wasn't a direct correlation to whatever he had done, um, but or my oldest daughter has rage issues. He has Tourette syndrome, Tourette syndrome, and one of the tics for Tourette syndrome is like OCD and rage. And OCD sort of can manifest itself right into rage because they're uncomfortable. If something isn't like this, that, and this, they're uncomfortable, so it can manifest itself into them rage. And she would had a couple times physically attacked me. And I had said to her, um, if you don't change this, you don't change this abusive behavior. I didn't say abusive behavior. I said rage. You don't change this rage. You're likely to not find somebody else who is your mom and puts up with it. And that's one of the things that she holds a grudge against me for. Except for she tells people that I told her she was unlovable, which is something I would never, never say. I would never say that to anybody, let alone my own child. I would never say that. That's what she's telling people. But do you write amends letters over and over and over? My personal opinion on that is no. One good, thoughtful, honest letter. Honest, meaning you own your shit. That tells them that they're loved, that they're a blessing, that everything that you wish for them and hope for them, then that. And if that doesn't work, you need to wait. Or don't wait. Don't wait. At some point, we have to just maybe accept it and move on. My husband's mother is in hospice. Been there for a couple of days. My youngest child has told his siblings the situation and that she is in hospice. And we have not, he has not had anybody reach out to him. Maybe at some point you just gotta move on. I just don't know how yet. Which is why I have this. So I can talk and meet people who are in the same situation. And we can talk. And we can support each other. And we can understand. So please subscribe. Please leave comments. Please give this video a thumbs up. It's the only way that this channel can grow. It's just how it works. Please do that. Please join the conversation. Please, let's support each other. Let's hear each other. Don't judge. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's way of doing it, handling it is different. Thank you for coming.